A big thanks to DJ for those dancing lessons before that match.
He's nuts at that.
He is. So we're going to get started here, and it is all 5 members of affNity coming over towards A. They do have smokes for an execute. All 5 members just going to set up for it. 3 in the doorway. And actually, this is a beautiful setup from kStars. They have 3 members stacking into the same bomb site. 1 along the fence, 1 in quad, and 1 on the site. So this could be an annihilation of affNity. They do come out. The nades do the damage. And great entry kills from affNity, but Bolts pulls them right back in it. Deal the damage, delaying as long as he possibly can, but a nice double nade into quad cleans out that area, but the bomb still hasn't gone down. They're giving a lot of time for these rotates to come in. Smoke does get deployed to hold him off the bomb site, but a great spread as well from affNity, so they're in good position here. First going to creep up. They've got to clear this player out from yellow. Fox wisely falls back into A main. He's clear of any danger. Abe gets 1 headshot on the follow, and it's all down on the Fur. So
Really
much
good
to do.
smoke. Really good smoke to hold Fur out. Once they were retaking from highway and the bomb was already down, they actually spotted the 2 players really early, so that front smoke that went out to cover off basically between the bomb, the CT red, I guess, and the wall, the bomb box, that was really good, because Fur couldn't come in the front side. They took down the second player, and even if he gets 1 pick, like if the smoke wasn't in, he gets 1 pick, there's a chance he can push the site. The smoke's there, he can't get anything at all. So that was really well executed post plant from affNity for a pistol round. That's good discipline to save the smoke that long in a pistol round.
Yeah, I mean, the whole thing was executed really well, because that was triple stacked. I mean, there were 3 players from kStars there, and that double nade into quad really, I mean, it evened things up. It turns it into just a standard 2 stack, so it not only, you know, takes away the stack, but it actually gives them the advantage once they clear the site out, because the rest of the backup is so far away, so affNity's starting out strong.
And we do see the 1 scout come out for Bolts. Steel's already taken a good amount of damage. He's down to 12 HP with that CZ75. As Fox fires through the door. Seems like ages ago we used to see a Steel player, rather Swag play in that position.
At the door?
That was his home, but speaking of banned players, Steel's going to get the shot on Arya. Abe, Davey, they respond to affNity coming back, and kStars, ZQK does bring this back a little bit closer, but now it's all on Fur as he gets eliminated. Illuminati's got me all crossed up from the A site. Fur, though, good lurk forward, does take down Davey. Gets a Mac 10 for his efforts, but still has to go against a 1-on-2 retake.
Before some poor soul watching gets confused, it's not the same Steel from iBuyPower. It's completely different.
He is
Steel.
sponsored by iBuyPower, though. That's the funny thing.
That is pretty funny. They all are, kind of. They've released, you know, it's pretty cool. They've released a couple, I think it's like 3 or 4 videos onto YouTube, their team YouTube, of them being in America and the United States so far. Like all the shopping they had to do and getting set up in their houses and everything during the move. Cool stuff. They have some subtitles for them as well, so it's a good watch. Definitely go check them out, support that team. It's really cool what these guys are doing with the move to play in this league.
And aggressive play from kStars. A stack again on the A site. 4 players there. 1 passive, 3 going directly into A main. There's the flash to get them in, and they take full advantage of it. ZQK going to take down Arya, but Abe holding strong. And it's Abe in, by the way, not side off. So they are still switching in this 5th position on affNity as Davey gets fallen. So this is working well. They're still going to continue forward. They've secured the damage, or rather limited the damage. They've stop the hemorrhaging from that early push as Davey will take down Fur, and it's going to go to 3-0. This is but expected after winning that pistol. Good solid anti-ecos. They've got tons of economy to work with still, although the upgrades do leave them a bit fragile. They should still be able to buy even if they lose this, though. That's the important thing for affNity. So that gives them 1 more extra round to work with as a result of the efficient play, but kStars, now we're going to see guns come out.
Yeah, no kits on the side of kStars. Only 4 smokes to utilize here. 1 Molotov. And mid-control is the name of the game on this map. We do see 2 members. That's going to be Fur and Steel. Fur's getting very, very close to mid. He's actually going to jump into the vent, so they're having a very solid setup. Arya takes a peek with the AWP, but he's not able to land the shot. But a good defensive posture from kStars so far.
Fox falling back off long. I like this play because this is the important part of this whole setup. Fur inside vents.
Yeah, that's absolutely crucial, and they actually Steel has remained there on the box to back them up, set up a little bit of a crossfire, and on that they still have 2 and A, so this is a very, very good defense.
It is a good defense. This is usually the split play between this and what they're doing. So wall of smokes. Watch for trying to go vent execution. This is going to put a lot of pressure on Fur. And he pops out just well. Well timed. Still hasn't been answered. He'll get the second, make it a third. Excellent play. That's why the vent player can be so strong. Once those wall of smokes come out, call comes out that it's very likely giving up access to vents. It's very likely going to be a push in that position. And Fur responds accordingly. Davey now tries to come over and finally take him out of the round. He will do so with the AK. And this leaves only one player still inside the B site. Davey finds Fallen as well. And Jason R still alive with decent HP, but Steel's come through from the flank and middle, and he's going to drop Jason R with that bomb. And now, unfortunately, Davey, who tried to get a little bit more aggressive and hold off the rotators, is going to get caught out for it. So Keed with a great round. I was going to say that the difference is by having that secondary hold from Steel on the white box while there's a player in vents. You see some teams actually triple stack mid with that player in vents, and then the player on highway rotates up to the toxic barrels. The problem is that rotating the toxic barrels, the smoke can block you out so easily, so having the second player already in the site was actually kind of neat.
Yeah, it gives you a lot of different variety that you can use. I mean, it just comes down to having mid control on this map. You have so many different options of what you can do. I mean, you even see Steel, who was at that box, once the B site gets cleaned out, because he had control of mid with his teammate playing so peaky, he was able to just run right up and have a quick flank onto the B site, save them from planning. But here's an aggressive lean towards A for affNity. 3 members in A main, 1 in the door, 1 just watching for a flank in middle. That's Davey. He is the lurker on this team. He's going to be in these roles all half long.
Fur's up to Cubby, though. This is a different approach to holding mid. A little bit more aggressive, a little bit more exposed. The one thing it doesn't do is give the same support onto the B site, but right now that may not matter because affNity look like they want to head toward A. Bolt's not peeking, playing passive, knows the shots are there, so he does take the peek and does take aim. Excellently played by him, and he sinks back into the NBK spot, but the gig is up. They know exactly where he is. They come around the corner, but ZQK is still in good position above T right. It's actually Fur and Steel who close 2 more. Fur away from the site, Steel directly inside of it, doubles up, takes down Fox, and kStars with the guns out look to be an absolute menace on this CT side so far.
Yeah, and once again, it comes down, it's going to be a broken record that mid-control, because they have 2 players that they're able to swiftly rotate back to that A bomb site. affNity doing nothing to push them off that stack, that crossfire between vents and box. So Seal just has, pretty much both those players have free reign to rotate very quickly between the bomb sites, and it's so effective. You're exactly right. It's just been shutting affNity down here early on in these first 2 gun rounds.
Aggressive peek out from ZQK with the op at A main this time. Went in very early without even a flash to come around the corner, so just take that direct peek. And he falls back. No, he hasn't. He's still there, so he needs to be a little bit careful and make sure he does win the battle against Arya, but he needs to be careful that the pistols don't rain out behind him and get in position. Bolts is going to be the one to prevent that. He's actually getting super aggressive on A main as well, so now they're both forward of that door. Luckily, they hear it open, they turn back accordingly. So well executed, it works out in the end. But that could have been cool if they came out with something like a flash to just blind them and get in position before they were aware. Flash, actually, a short flash would have been cool because they both would have turned around and looked at the door and been blinded because of it.
Yeah,
but, I mean, it's
absolutely.
the things you don't know. Those are just, I mean, that's theoretical.
Yeah, and even this is forcing a second eco out of affNity here, so their money just gets completely destroyed. They have Tech 9s, they have a little bit of utility. They're heading over towards B. They do have 1 Molotov, so that'll probably be used for the headshot angle, or even upper in heaven as kind of a pseudo-smoke. But that's actually their self-smoke. I think they missed that. I think they wanted to throw it right off the corner and into the opening, but they missed it, so now they just have to pop flash it. That was Fallen's own flash, actually. But there are 4 players outside. Yep, here comes the Molotov strategy. 1 at headshot, that's it. They're going to smoke the cross, so Fallen's only got to worry about checkers.
Fallen up close, using the smoke to his advantage. Good reaction shot, takes Fox as well. Arya makes his way back deep inside checkers, but he can do nothing from that position at this point because no one's coming through the vents. It's going to be Abe that gets aggressive inside the front of the site on that entrance. And Steel, Fallen, they combine for more kills, keep going further, and somehow Davies made his way down middle, completely overlooked, and as a result, actually does get ZQK, but he can't push forward to get that gun. Second shot on Fallen. This Tech 9 movement, just absolutely crazy. They will eventually stop and put a stop to that on the crossfire, and kStars now have the lead, but we're going to see guns come back out. Fallen, that was cool, because I think it was you and I casting when we saw an IM match where someone put their own smoke inside the pit and then crouched on the ledge of the bomb site above it. Yep. That was kind of similar, where that close smoke let him be kind of disguised inside pit. Not quite the same play. I haven't seen something quite like that sense. I actually really want to see a pro player do it just because it was so cool, but it's not necessarily effective. It's pretty situational.
And another double op setup out of kStars. They did this all over on Train, but here on Cash they're doing the same thing. It also looks like they're walking up for a reverse boost. Arya's up there with an AWP, but ZQK wins that battle. And now they're just going to pause on the reverse boost and wait for an opportune moment to do it. Give it a little bit more time. But they bail out because they get blind, and he's going to walk right past the member. That's Abe. Runs into him in the smoke, but Seal wins that battle.
Oh, ZQK just looked away too soon on Jason R, but he re-peeks that quite curiously, as he knew the op was staring him down, and now Davy's going to drop. He had the op in the entry, but they go nowhere with that, so the guns get completely cleaned up. kStars are just taking full advantage of some sloppy play, in my opinion, by affNity right now.
Yeah, they're winning all the initial battles, and that just allows them to full-blown rotate over towards the action and just clean it up. It comes down to being able to control mid as a terrorist team. You have to be able to push those guys back because there's two players in mid. There's been a variety of setups employed by them so far, very early on, and nothing that affNity has done is put any pressure on them in mid.
So Fallen looks for the quick peek with the op. This is an interesting place for him to play. Okay, he has already changed it up because he has to basically hit the shot and fall away from the site. The quickest way of escape is actually outside the site through CT connector at B from that position. But meanwhile, Fox has made his way through the door. Arya, ZQK takes him down. Fox now going to find bolts. So things are actually stacking up in affNity's favor this time on the execution on entry. And Abe now finds one more. It's Fur to go down. It's all left to Fallen, and he was that late player coming all the way over from B. Does have the op to try and get this peak, and he actually misses that shot. Wow! I'm extremely surprised he couldn't hit that. Arya had to land before aiming and did so successfully, so that's a good execution that time from affNity.
Yeah, it was. They smoked off the bomb site completely. There were two players, one upper and quad, and one playing in that NBK spot, but the Molotovs came right behind the smoke, so put them in really awkward positions. They just kind of had to bail out and play for themselves, not able to cover each other, and affNity got a couple nice entries, so that hurts the economy a little bit as well, and kStars does not go back to that double op setup. It's just Fallen with it now. He's going to take an angle over at B, and because he has the AWP at this angle, he's the only one there, and he sees no one, so here comes that reverse boost once again. Fur's going up, A's watching for it. Not able to win the battle, though, so Fur gets a man advantage for his team and just falls off. Fallen, meanwhile, is forced back after getting legged.
Fur's on top of the ledge at the garage. We don't see too many people get into that position, but he's done so successfully. We'll see if it works out for him. Meanwhile, Bolt's still going to be firing away through the squeaky door. Fox has crossed over, though, without taking any damage. That flash from Jason and Davey tries to get them a little bit deeper toward the site, tries to get Fox to open the door, but ZQK wasn't spotted at all by that flash, so he pops back out, takes the exchange. Although Davey and Jason, they still make this entry work. Their flash might not have done much in their favor, but their guns certainly will. Steel pulls it back just a little bit, and there you go. Look at that position. Arya had no idea Fur was waiting above the garage. That's just cheeky stuff. That's almost like 1.6 sneaky.
Seal is playing his position so wonderfully at the moment, and part of it is he's not getting any pressure put on him by affNity. I mean, he feels very, very comfortable in everything he's done so far, but the way he's able to rotate between mid to the A bomb site is just masterful, and he's always there to bail out that take. You know, affNity got some good entries. That was a great opportunity for him to at least get a bomb plant, but Steel's there so incredibly quickly to just clean things up. Look at Fergod, so confident, just pushing right through the smoke, and he's gonna find Abe. Abe's not ready for it. It didn't seem like he's trying to peer the corner, but Fur wins it anyways.
Fur has played mid 4 different ways and been successful 4 different times. Vents, cubby, a push through the smoke, as we just saw in the last round, above the garage. This guy's changing it up so much, it's almost like mid can be held with one person, because it's a mind game at that point. They have to find him before they can even enter. There's no confidence against a guy like that.
Well, it can also be held by one person because affNity's not putting any bodies on it. They're not devoting anyone to clean it out, and it's just giving so much control to kStars. I mean, even now, with the way that they were controlling mid, there's only Fallen over at B, so look at the A lean that there is. And first, still being just aggressive, pushes up at A main, grabs a one, turns around at the door, and takes out Fox. This is just a turkey shoot at the moment for the Brazilians.
Part of me wants to say, though, as much as I agree they're not putting bodies there, that I think that actually is a response to the fact of how well Fur played it, because we saw them go for that wall of smoke toward Vent, and that round he just popped out and got a 3K, and then they kind of realized, oh, maybe that's not an option, so that may not have anything to do with it. Maybe it's not in the itinerary for affNity, but the one round they did put a lot of bodies there, they got shut down, and they've done so every single time one lurk players come through, so Either way, Davy's going to be the last one left, and with 4 kStars players left, you can't do much at all.
Yeah, I mean, affNity needs to find some way, slow things down, don't get picked off early on and do a delayed mid-take. You need to clean that out or at least push them back. You need to gain that control because that's all the opportunities, all the reasons that kStars is being effective at rotating between bomb site could be affinities if they take it. But whether it's because they're intimidated, like you said, whether they're scared away from it by the emphasis that kStars has on it, or because they just don't know how to do it, but they need to get that mid-control if they want to have any chance of success in this half. I mean, they have 4 rounds already, so it's not like it's abysmal, but that pistol round's huge for them, but these gun rounds have just been getting shut down. And with the economy that's going to continue to go by kStars keeping so many members alive, once you start getting Molotovs being rebought in these choke points, it's just going to be brutal.
Good shot from Fallen. I made mention earlier of that he was taking the aggressive angle to peek from the drop on Heaven. The problem with that is if there's not a second player inside the site, like I said, the fastest way to get out of cover as they close out the round, well played by Bolts to just clean that all up. But if he falls out of the site, he actually has to go back through the CT connector if they're hot on his heels. Otherwise, he can get to Generator. Then he can stay inside, but it basically gives up the site. But that time, even though he was playing from that position, they had a second player to support in B, which they haven't had a whole lot of times. But that's a call just simply based on how Fallen chose to play that. And therefore, he can cover that angle. If he still gets smoked off, there's a second player that doesn't, give up the B site entirely for free. So kStars are throwing up some changes that have a lot of reason. They're not just being random about their decisions. They're playing off each other quite well right now.
All right, here's a mid control. Here's a aggressive take from mid from affNity. And they need this to work. Fallen's very close up aggressively with the op. They might not expect this. That pop flash ruins his world, though. Peering into the wall, he's got to be very careful. Throws a Molotov on the boost. But actually, Steel helps him push back this attack for the moment.
And Steel will remain inside Z Hall. That's well played onto Abe. That's the boost caught off, so that gives Fallen a bit more breathing room. But they are going to attack on B because of this. And Fur goes down. He's inside the site. Now they have to play for a retake because Steel's outside of Z, or rather CT, excuse me, and Arya is going to find the kill onto him. So the retake's going to have to be swift right now from kStars. Finally, affNity have found their way inside of a bomb site. Fallen on the flank, caught by Fox. This makes it even harder because Davies pushed aggressively. And although that flash comes through from Bolton, he does get 1 kill. He still has 3 players left defending this bomb. Arya spamming away through the garage door. Good chance to do some damage onto Bolts, but he's already crossed. He doesn't fall back and does get 1 more onto Fox. That hurts the economy at just a little bit more for affNity, who do reset money right now, but they get the round, and that's pretty crucial to get up to 5 on the T side. I think this map's more normalized, though, for kStars. I think their T side is going to be more than what it was on Terrain.
Yeah, absolutely. I do as well. But that's a nice run from affNity. They take mid control, and it was a little bit sloppy. I mean, some great counter smokes and counter flashes from kStars held them back as long as possible. But once they got out, they were able to abuse the fact that they were only playing 1 player in B. I mean, they hadn't been pressured in mid for so long, so they never kind of adjusted that setup. But that time it gets abused. So nicely done by affNity there. And that calls for ZQK to pick out the auto sniper and the op on Fallen still over towards B. And once again, he's the only player there.
So boost for Abe. This is really cool to see Fur again being aggressive, but Steel's going to shut them down before they even get that far, so Abe's out of this round. The stack on A to give vision. They're going to actually decide better of it right now, just based on the call that there's all those smokes, that wall of smokes mid, but Fur, there it is again. They try and run the same play, and Fur's just waiting. He picks up another double when they go to vents. Both times they've tried to play that strategy, he's shut them down from different angles. Man, I actually am really impressed by Fur's ability. This is almost like a solo. He did have support from Steel, but this is almost like Apex's style, only different. He's super aggressive, Apex is super passive, and they both have a really good ability to solo hold mid with rifles. I have to say they're probably the 2 best rifle players in mid right now. Fnatic obviously run 3 mid with the 2 ops on each site, but that's 3 players, not 1 that's doing most of the work.
Part of the issue there was they didn't pop flash Fur back like they did last time. When the round that it was successful, he did have that AWP, but look, another reverse boost here, and this eco hit is going to be onto A. They have a boost going on over here today. There's the auto sniper to ZQK, grabs 2 very quickly. Bolts drops him, he swings out to go for the spray, gets 1. The auto sniper is still just so incredibly powerful. It's only going to be Davey at mid with this Tech 9. He comes up, but Steel takes him out. And a pretty solid half there out of kStars, although affNity does get 5 off the back of that pistol round.
Oh dear lord, did it happen to me again? I think it has. Alright, I'm going to reconnect as quickly as possible. But that was a good half. That auto-sniper boost worked well for them when it finally came into play. They actually tried to do that the round prior, but no one came that direction. So they threw a lot of different tactics out that time. I think it's really cool to see the way people play Cash. I think it actually rewards different play. There's so many different styles right now the CTs can use in their favor. Again, Fnatic, off
Right,
each
but
site 3 minutes. It's pretty cool.
It's all employed and it's all successful based on how you hold mid. I mean, you have to be able to hold that portion of the map. And like you said, Apex plays it much more passively, still effective, but you have to be able to control that, get the information, get some kills there. And kStars did it wonderfully that half. Do you have the IP or do you need it?
I've got the IP. I'll be right there.
Perfect.
But yeah, no, I mean, it does. You're definitely right. It comes down to the way they hold mid. But again, it's doesn't matter how they hold it. It's if they hold it, and how they hold it changes up where the other players can play. So I think it's really cool. I think if Cash is, for me, I think probably Cash is my favorite to watch right now as a spectator, just for that reason. I think Mirage is another one that there's a bit of differences in the way people play mid, but A site gets compromised in some of those certain situations. So I'd have to say Cash is probably the coolest CT side to watch. And maybe Cobble other than that for overall gameplay right now, I have to say.
This is
Cash, Mirage, Cobble.
This is going to be a brutal... Oh, Davey gets 2. That's huge. You might even get a 3rd here, but that setup looks so dangerous before Davey picks off the first 2 into the site. He can't connect with anything after that. Arya does chime in, but it's a 4-on-2, and they're not wasting any time with this retake.
Wasting any time at all. Because fortunately the bomb hasn't gone down, so it's almost not a retake. It's just a hold at this point still, but somehow Steel's gone all the way around to B, gets caught coming out of heaven. He went all the way through mid and back into B. He was heard, though, by Abe, and in the air he got taken down. Superman heroics. Superman can't really fly.
All on Davey that round. Those first 2 shots closed things out. So that's the second pistol round for affNity now.
Similar situation that kStars found themselves in on Train, where they win the second pistol simply to bring themselves back into it, not take a massive lead where 2 pistols might imply otherwise. So affNity only got 2 gun rounds in the first half. This is the exact same situation that kStars were in last map. They managed to pull that off in overtime against LG, but that was a much different situation on Train. And kStars is a very worthy opponent on their T side, so they're going to stack up right now in A main. Steel's going to fall back a little bit further. I'm actually interested to see why Steel was that far back. I guess just to throw out that default smoke for the short bounce. As Fur all the way around the backside of the forklift. Bolt's going to connect Fox, and this is a perfect execution. That's what we expect to see from kStars. Calculated, they set it up, and then when they go so fast. And inside the site already with this bomb down, they're going to find Jason R as well. And affNity, I think they're finding out the hard way why kStars made it out of the group set. Oh wow, Fur actually survives with 1 HP, so all 5 still up. But I think they're finding out the hard way why kStars made it out of the group set Katowice, because it's all execution with these guys.
That was just a smackdown. Fur comes out entry with that Tech 9 on yellow. He runs through a Molotov to do it, and I don't even think the other guy got a shot off.
We see lots of ecos in this game, but how often do we see an eco where 5 players survive?
Yeah, that was impressive.
That's crazy.
They just cleaned it up. Nicely done by kStars there. A little bit of a goof by affNity. And they've spotted Arya going to check it, so he's forced to clear out. They're not ready for it. They do double nade it, but this is going to be a fast B. You see the rotations already coming in, so kStars has got to get in here quickly and efficiently. There's 1 member still in the site, hiding behind the double stack. Fox is going to go down vents to follow him, though. Oh, Jason R do some work peering around that smoke. He grabs 2, just spraying and falling back on his back foot. And all of a sudden, it's just down to him in a 1-on-2, and he's looking for a little bit more luck there. He's not going to find it quite yet.
Oh, if he manages to pull this off, it would be pretty incredible, but that nade's going to do it. Furr's going to collect the last one, and he's looking great tonight. 20 kills for him in this game. Everyone else in the entire server, though, is really close for both teams. That's the interesting thing, is actually that the frags are pretty good, aside from Jason R. Actually, I just noticed. That's Jason R just got 2 kills in that round.
Way to single him out, bro.
Well, I mean, he had 1 kill before, apparently, that round, so that's pretty ridiculous, actually. He didn't have a disconnect. No, he has 14 deaths. That's crazy, because he's been in some plays, so, Jason, no, didn't get much going. He does that round, though. That's a good boost, but everybody else, like I say, is into double digits, low double digits, pretty close together, which is surprising considering the scoreline. Says the rounds are at least close. As Fallen takes Arya already. Out the door comes Bolt. He'll catch Davey. This puts Fox into a really awkward position where he's already pushed up. But Bolt doesn't know that, so he may still be able to pop out. No, he's going to get spotted actually by ZQK and be unable to go any further. As Fur will come back up highway, and they realize now that they have the A site. And watch out, because Steel's waiting in Sunroom for Abe to pass in front of him, and that's
You know,
exactly what's going to happen. What's funny?
That's the exact same way that the North American Steel plays that position on this map. Plays it so passively and just hides. Doesn't really get into too many gun battles like you see some other players do, but he just waits for anyone to kind of push late in the round if his team's winning, or he just waits for anyone to try and gain map control in that Sunroom. It's just kind of funny to me.
It's kind of funny, actually. It is funny.
It is funny. You're right. It's much funnier than
It's a little bit funny. This feeling inside when ZQK gets the op and almost burns alive. Okay, I'm done.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Cringe. Oh god, rip everyone's ears. But they're gonna go for the boost again. So he will get a second chance to get that peak. Bolts is also going to get flamed off at the doorway, but he still gets two. Man, left, get right, get back on top of the connector. Good spray down from Fox, and he responds. Perfect play from him, and direct counter to what just happened, and Fur does drop down. So Abe now on B. Has to hold against one lurk player. This is your lurk again from Steel, but yeah, you're right. It's a lot of pressure on A. So Fallen's going to try and come in. Flash does go over. Jason dodges that, peeks back out. Another kill for him. He's adding to his total in spades right now as Fallen lurks forward, has this bomb and a player on either side, but he gets a free kill on Jason because little did he know that Fox had no vision due to that smoke. So now he falls back into NBK spot. He thinks Fallen's already crossed over. Abe not rotating because Steel's still alive and lurking. And now they've got this. They're going to have this bomb site down and complete for kStars.
Yeah, Abe has just been frozen here this entire time by Steel's early pressure that was put on it, and kStars doesn't quite realize, how far away he is. They don't realize how juked they have him, but they're playing it smartly and slowly. Steel's going to be the first one to cross to protect the bomb, but they've got to be careful. If this timing's right, Abe could have peeked up and gotten one, but it's not. They get in the bomb site just in time. The plant's going to go down. It's going to be a 1-on-2 here for Abe.
Does come up before they can cross back over, so both inside the site. Still does realize Fallen may know. He doesn't know that though. He has no idea. Does still find Fallen though a little bit off guard as he comes around quickly and wins that exchange, but there's a perfect counter peek from Steel, who initially was your lurk. That's what made the rotation so slow for me, because he kept him in position on B and then he beats him to the site, takes him down when he tries to go for that retake. So well played from him.
Yeah, Abe was frozen for so long at that B site. It was wonderful, and it's fitting that Steel gets the last kill there on him at the end. And it was a very nice bait set. I mean, they played that 2-on-1 perfectly, not overexposing themselves early. So kStars excelling at the moment on their terrace side. They did lose the pistol, but they've won 4 straight.
What? Bolts? He just walked out and fired at the door. Perfect angle, and now he's going to open it. Takes down Abe and Fox. This is crazy play from Bolts. What a round from him. Man, 3 headshots faster than I don't even know what. All pretty much one-taps. And he's going to close it out with a kill on Jason R just to add style points to it, and they're on match point now for kStars.
That's so impressive. Nicely done by Bolts, and this is just a clinic right now that kStars is putting on, and they're looking fantastic.
Jesus Christ, that was an impressive shot.
I mean, there a couple rounds before that, he just came outdoor on a gun round, and he gets an opening entry on one, and then he just toys with the guy up on balcony before executing him. So he's being very, very effective in that position.
And he takes over the lead for frags as well on 23, caught up and passed Fur on this T side, and we knew it was going to be a strong T side. Only giving up the 1 round, that 1 pistol round. Again, it was an eco, by the way. As Aria this time does a little bit better with this op. Fox gets in good position just in time before that smoke lands and deploys, so he takes down Bolts. Now they've got at least a better hold on this site. Davey has the auto sniper, yet to get it into position, but Abe will find Steel.
Here's the thing, kStars, they missed a Molotov in a quad, so that's why Aria was able to just sit there and not take any damage, sit there with impunity, because they figured the second molly would flush him out of position, so no one was even looking at him, so he had free reign to just peek and shoot people on the side. So a small mistake there. And kStars gets obliterated on that take. But they have so much money, they have such a big lead. Not too big of an issue.
I really hope someone clips some of these highlights we've seen tonight. The rush play on Inferno.
Oh yeah, that was
Bolts
dirty.
is around right now. Please, someone, if you're a video editor, if you want to reach out to the demo vault,
we've got one of those. We've got one of those here at ESEA.
We do. We should tell him we need those highlights made, because those 2 rounds were amazing tonight. Aria waiting just patiently. The last one remaining is ZQK. And he'll drop just as quickly. So that gives another round back to affNity, but again, it's still match point for kStars. They can pretty much coast at this point. Surely they'll pick up this round eventually, and look at the amount of money they've got to work with.
Yeah, Seal has 12,000. He just buys out. He can drop one for GK. Actually drops him at all. So that's going to deplete it a little bit, but still you got 3 players, and one's at 3,500, 2 of them are over 4,000. They're still sitting pretty. And 4 Molotovs, again, we saw this on another map yesterday. I forget which one it was I was commenting on it. I believe it was Overpass, but just 4 ups, four Molotovs, excuse me, not 4 ups, 4 Molotovs, so they don't want to get that 5th one. And it's something else that was kind of curious to me. affNity last round had 3 players playing in mid on the defensive side, so it's interesting that they put so much emphasis on mid control as a CT, but on Terra's side, they kind of shied away from it for some time. So it might actually be they just got beat up so cleanly. First time they executed mid control, they didn't really want to go back to it.
Davey spams away this time preemptively to make sure they don't cross over in that smoke to get positioned to take the shot toward Catwalk. As no surprise, it's Bolts that's at Squeaky spamming this time, and little does he know immediately in the get right spot, it's Fox, and little did Fur know as he came in and got taken down by him, and now he's going to readjust the angle, so as the door opens, it's Bolts that actually takes a little bit of damage from the spray this time, down to 64 HP. And affNity are looking a little bit more composed these last few rounds, but they've gone a really passive position on to mid right now, and kStars falling off A. That's been their go-to. They're going to throw a curveball and head toward B. Davey, Abe, quick on the rotation, though. This will give them a bit of a chance to hold that. Smoke out from Arya buys them time, but they've got position in vents. ZQK just going to make sure he catches anyone lurking down highway. He'll play for the rotators, the lurk player. As Arya gets one, Abe through the smoke does get the other, and Davey, there it is, that fast rotation. All 3 players contribute. They'll push through and catch out ZQK. Good rotation, good awareness from affNity.
Yeah, it really was, and just the Molotovs they still had left so late in the round, 35 seconds left, and one just gets deployed on checkers, but at that point, kStars is committed, and they had to try and bully their way, so that's what allowed the quick rotations, because there was no worry that they would fall back to the other site. Nicely done by affNity there. kStars does have another buy left in him, and if they lose this one, they'll be forced onto a save, but it's coming. I mean, affNity has started minimizing the damage. They're taking it early in rounds from A, from bolts in the door, from players in A main. They're not taking too much damage now.
Here's the thing, though. They're running a solo mid with Jason, who's already given it up. He's already gone to the highway because of how fast they've been hitting A. He's actually going Apex. This is full Apex. Falls off it because he's forced out. Knows he can't cross back to Z. Goes up, checks out what's going on at A, and rotates the long way around back in. That's a full Apex rotation. That's pretty cool. He's only the 2nd player I've seen take that long rotation back into mid. It's actually a really conservative way of doing it. It doesn't give you any chance to get caught out in no man's land trying to get back over. And this is exactly how Apex plays it. Now he's going to stay super passive, let them get up. The problem is that smoke's out, so he can't come in late. But kStars, they're going to slow things down based on that pick onto Davey.
Well, the problem is they don't have Kenny S with an AWP and quad. They had Davey, and he gets taken out by ZQS with a nice shot. And that's going to allow the entire offense here from kStars is going to transition back around mid over towards B. So once again, it's going to be all on Arya with the op. He's in the bomb site. He's got a lot of work to do, and affNity hasn't sniffed it out yet. Now Abe's rotating over. He's going to get here just in time to wreak some havoc from above. He does. He grabs the first shot. Not able to get a second one, though, so Arya hasn't been able to connect either, and he gets dropped immediately. This is the bomb site. This should be a round for kStars.
It should be, and if that's the case, it'll be the match, because Fox now finds himself 1 on 4, collects the first, collects the second, but he can't do anything further because they check it out perfectly. And that's going to do it. It's going to make it match and said done now for the Brazilians. Well played by them. They remain undefeated, and 4-0. I think they're the only team to hit that 4-0 mark.
I believe that's very possible. Let me double check. I almost want to say Nylum is there. They might be at 3.
No, you're right. Nylam's played 4. Yeah, that's right. I thought they played 3 as well.
kStars and Nylum are tied for 1 and 2 with 4 wins apiece and 0 losses. Then it's CLG at 4 and 1. Elevate's 4 and 2. Luminosity 4 and 2.